Okay, so I probably should have done this in the last video, but let's go back to problem 1, and we put 5 down. Okay, so that is the answer to 1A, 5 lines of symmetry. Now let's go on to the second problem, which is, it looks like some kind of figure, sort of like a cross, but with arrows at the edges. And let's try to figure out its number of lines of symmetry. So let's take the object, and you might want to follow along with me with a cutout, just so you are convinced. Okay. So I think we can start by doing something very similar with what we did in the last figure, and we could fold it along the arrows. Okay, so we could kind of split each arrow, fold each arrow on top of itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's fold these arrows on top of themselves like that, and down here like that. Okay, maybe zoom in a little bit more on what I'm doing here. This is a little bit more complicated, so I fold in this arrow like that. Okay, when I do that, I get a figure that's folded onto itself, right? Turn this around. This figure is very nicely folded onto itself. So we make a really deep crease. We can draw it when we open it. And let's go ahead, and we've got ourselves our first line of symmetry. Very good. Let's draw a line there. And it looks kind of similar to the other line of symmetry that we had with the star. We basically drew it from, from one tip of the arrow to the other tip of the arrow. Okay, good. So there's our first line of symmetry. So we could do the same thing with the other 2 arrows, can't we? So let's go ahead now and fold these in half, like so. And let's find another line of symmetry. Let's just verify that this object folds on top of itself in the other direction. And I think you can see that it does. Okay, so let's carefully make ourselves a crease. Okay, so there we go. This is folded over now in the other direction. So now let's make a really nice crease, and let's undo this, unfold it, and then draw a line of symmetry. So now we've got a line of symmetry that's going up and down, again between the 2 arrow points. Let's draw that in. There and there. So far we've got 2 very nice lines of symmetry. Well, is that it? Okay, if this was just like in the star, we went through every tip of the arrow and we were done. But in this case, there are other lines of symmetry. I want you to take a moment, think about this. If you have a cutout, look at your cutout, try to figure out what are the other lines of symmetry here. Okay, so if you've done that, you might have noticed that we can also take this figure, and instead of folding it along an arrow like that, we could fold it between the arrows like this, and we can still have the figure fold onto itself. So let's go ahead and fold the figure onto itself like this and like that. Okay, we make a crease up and down there. We now have a figure that's pretty much folded onto itself. It may not be exactly perfect because, I may have made a little error in the drawing or something, but you get the idea, okay, that these 2 arrows fold onto each other like that. So we have another line of symmetry that goes between the lines of symmetry that we drew. This line of symmetry is over here, up and down like this. Okay, so that's another line of symmetry. Again, we can fold over like that and open like that, and the 2 arrows overlap each other like that. So let me also notice that if I rotate it around one more time, I can do the same thing over here. I can take these 2 arrows, fold it along the center, and I can fold them on top of the other, on top of the other 2 arrows. So I've got yet a 4th line of symmetry like that. So let me go ahead and do this folding. Okay, and there is my 4th line of symmetry. It looks like that and like this. I can reopen it up, and now I can draw a line where that crease is. And I'm done at this point. So I have found all the lines of symmetry. Okay. These two look shorter only because there is no other space for me to draw these lines. But of course, these are just line segments on infinite lines that are lines of symmetry. So how many lines do we have here? We have 1, 2. We've got the 2 that go to the tips of the arrows. Then we've got 3 and 4 that go between the arrows. So we have 4 lines of symmetry. So let's take our paper and let's write down 4 for the answer for this one.